So what is Bill 50? Some of you have been to the website. I hope you get a chance to visit it after today. We've had several thousand hits already in the first couple of days. People are keenly interested in what the point is about this. But first and foremost, you have to understand it takes the regulator out of the position of being the referee. Okay, so this thing about our industry and how it works so well is now being fundamentally modified. It's like playing a sport without an umpire or a referee or a judge. And think about what that looks like. It takes away the tension from the companies that make the profit. And profit motive is intense. We all know this. In fact, we all have a fiduciary duty for the companies we work for to maximize profit. And so if you take the regulator away, then the company's duty changes. They feel they need to fill the void, and they will. Maybe not the people that work there today. Maybe they still wear a bit of that cultural attribute I spoke of. But 10 years from now, 15 years from now, 20 years from now, we can't be sure that judgment will always prevail. Good judgment will always prevail. So what it does is it takes the transparency and openness and tension of doing the right thing behind closed doors. It causes people to exaggerate. It causes people to misrepresent facts because there's no discipline anymore. It could be mostly true, but it might not always be true. And you live with that little inconsistency because it's now sitting around a boardroom table or in a minister's office. And that is not the way we need to move forward, especially at a time when technology and societal cost and our recession are all intersecting at the same time. The Alberta Utilities Commission gets clearly disenfranchised, and it's intentional with Bill 50. And the reason we're told it's intentional is because apparently hearings over transmission lines are a bit of a gong show. I've heard that phrase. I'm sure you have too. I'm sure you've heard other phrases that I won't say up here. But maybe that's because the need wasn't very clear. Maybe there's a reason it was a gong show. Maybe the company putting forward the application didn't do a very good job. Maybe they forgot some important facts, like some of the truths about what the purpose was. And so just simply taking the Alberta Utilities Commission out of the loop is no guarantee it's going to be any easier going forward. In fact, you can start to see unrest at those hearings where they're going to talk about whose land the polls go on. You can just see what might happen when someone stands up and says, hey, you don't need this thing, so I'm saying no, and I don't have to paint the picture. You can extrapolate that for yourself. And the fact that no one will hear the opposition to the cost is deeply troubling. Deeply troubling. Do I need 4 lines, or can I get by with 3? Maybe I should just ask for 8 because no one's going to really check. And so on. The first time in Alberta history, from what I'm told, we have a bill in front of legislature that lists projects and assigns them to companies. That's never happened before. Very curious. Why so big? Why so many? Why? It's $8 billion of consumer-paid projects. The shareholders of the companies on the list will become very wealthy because the consumer paid the bill. Perfect time to really juice that regulator up, don't you think? Perfect time to say, Mr. Regulator, you got to watch this one extra close. But we didn't. We took it away. We went the other direction with Bill 50. What is Bill 50 actually? Well, it's a couple of 500 kV, and I won't get into the technical nature of these lines, but think of it as 500 kV is really big. And 240 kV is also really big. It just doesn't move as much power. These are big projects. To put it into context, if you took all of the energy in our entire electricity system in Alberta and were to squish it into transmission lines, it would be 500 kV transmission lines moving in a direction. You could do the same thing with one 1-meter diameter gas pipeline. So think about that. All of the energy produced in Alberta could leave the province through one 1-meter in diameter pipeline, or massive transmission. And I'm going to come back to that little equation in a moment. But these are the projects listed in Bill 50. They add up to $8 billion in 2007 dollars, or 2008 dollars, I should say. By the time they're built, they'll probably be 10, 11 billion. The lateral lines that aren't listed, to make these lines somewhat effective, add another $6 billion, and by the time you spend it all, you're in the $20 billion range, which is why you read about $20 billion in the newspaper.